حفظ القيادة السورية على أرواح مواطنينا وأمن بلدنا.
Assad does not have significant military capability.
إذا قتلونا مع اليابان يحددنا.
Good afternoon and thank you for joining us on FutureTV. I'm Linda Tamim and these are today's top stories. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he hopes the U.S.-Russian broker deal to remove Syria's chemical weapons will result in the complete destruction of the arsenal. Syrian Supreme Military Council says President Bashar al-Assad will not adhere to the conditions of the weapons deal as he is moving his chemical materials into Lebanon and Iraq. And moving on with our summer insights, we are joined by Zaina Saab to talk about what it takes to form an NGO in Lebanon. Continuing with our Summer Insights series, we aspire to showcase men and women trying to make it happen in Lebanon despite the turmoil. We go on live with our very own Yumna Naufal.
Thank you, Linda. 2 years ago, Zaina Saab founded the Nawaya Network to empower disadvantaged youth who may not have the tools to achieve their dreams in art, music, writing, or athletics, among other things. But with the Nawaya Network, an online platform was created to offer these children the right resources in order to actualize their potential. It is my pleasure to welcome back in our studios the founder of the Nawaya Network, Zaina Saab. So I'm going to get right to it. You know, I know you'll be launching your mentorship campaign this fall, where people will actually be able to sign up to become mentors. And this is the first program of its kind in Lebanon. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. This mentorship program aims to connect disadvantaged youth who are enrolled in our program to mentors and role models that we find all around us. Generally, they're going to be 18 and above, mostly from universities and the private sector. We recruit them, we partner up with academic institutions and businesses. We train the mentors, we match them with the mentees, our youth, and they meet on a weekly basis for 1 to 2 hours per week for at least 6 months. And then together, they're able to, go down the right path. We keep our youth away from crime, violence, drugs.
I know you said this. I remember last time you were here, you said that the reason why you started this was because for you felt like you wanted to contribute to the underprivileged and you wanted to be able to offer them this outlet in order for them to, get away from crime, etc. So here you are 2 years later, and there's been a lot of work and a lot of things have changed. What's been the biggest change so far?
Well, since last year, when I was here until now, we've been working intensively on building our online platform, which is on nawaya.org. And this is really what defines Nawaya. It's a different take on empowering disadvantaged youth. We use an online platform where we upload profiles of our youth, we showcase their talents through a 1-minute video, and we give online users, not just in Lebanon, but around the world, the option to support a youth of their choice. And there are 6 different buttons: employ me, train me, gift me, mentor me, sponsor me, and feature me. And so it gives anyone, really anywhere in the world, the opportunity to support a youth of their choice.
And then they get to actually know these youth one-on-one and in depth and get to support. How many underprivileged people are you currently working with?
Right now, there are 16 youth uploaded on our site. We hope that by the end of the year, we'll have about 40. And then we want to continue growing. We don't want to just stay in Lebanon. We want to continue moving beyond Lebanon. We want to become an Arab online network. And already, we've received messages from youth from Morocco and Algeria and Libya and Jordan.
Have you seen the fruit of that labor basically come? Has there been any result?
Definitely. Just the fact that we know that what we do is needed and people are coming to us asking how they can be enrolled in our program tells me that what we're doing is definitely, hopefully one day going to make an impact if we stay on the right road. And so far, luckily, we've been very fortunate. We've been receiving a lot of support from the local community. We have Alumni Central, for example, a network of top students and alumni from around the world who are helping us build our business model because we want to be a sustainable nonprofit. We don't want to have to rely consistently on donations and grants and fundraising to sustain ourselves. We want to generate revenue on our own so that we don't wake wake up one day and realize we have to scale back our activities. We want to continue to grow. Especially with the recession these days, you can't always rely on donations.
And I wanted to talk a bit about that. When you talk about the recession, you talk about Lebanon, and you are somebody, you formed your own NGO, which is not an easy task to take on. So how do you do it? How do you stay sane within, with all the turmoil and everything?
It's definitely not easy, especially since I grew up in the U.S. in, a stable town and security, and moving to Lebanon was not a hard choice for me because I felt that this is what I'm meant to do at this stage in my life. I felt like I had a calling, and I found what I wanted to do. What inspires me is that despite the turmoil, there's so much positive energy in society amongst youth, people who are not giving up on this country, people who want to do good. And so just looking at the initiatives that have sprung up over the last couple of years, from Food Blessed to the Ali Abdullah Foundation for the Homeless to Juice for Charity, a lot of young energy is out there.
I know you get to work with different charities that contribute and help with the Nawaya Network. Do you want to talk a little bit about a couple of them?
Sure.
Can you name them?
Sure. We work with Ayadina Association. We have 5 youth recruited from them. We work with the Amil Association. Mostly they work with refugees. We've got Sudanese refugees on board, Iraqi refugees.
So how does it work? Would you call them and say, this is what I do? Do you want to contribute, or how would you do it?
We seek a partnership. Because we realize that it can't be done alone. We need to support each other. So some NGOs might not focus on what we focus on. Maybe they focus mostly on after-school tutoring, on relief, on rehabilitation. So what we offer is something additional, which is obviously for the benefit of the youth in their community. So I think this only motivates them to want to partner up with us because they value the fact that we focus on the passions of the youth as a way maybe out of poverty one day.
When somebody wants to mentor for you, do they have to have a specific credential, or can anybody mentor?
Anyone can mentor. Obviously,
I can mentor? Could I mentor?
Of course. We would
so
love
what would
for
I
you
do?
to
Would
mentor.
I call and say, listen, Zaina, I want to help out. What can I do?
So the process is basically you apply online, we call you for an interview, and then if you pass the criteria, we invite you for a training session, a 6-hour training session where we get a social worker, a psychologist, and a life coach on board to teach the mentors and instruct them on how to motivate youth, how to keep them going, how to raise their self-esteem.
Will you mentor one person at a time, or is it a group of children?
It's one-to-one. So you would be matched up with a younger girl.
And I think this is great. I mean, I can say this. I think this is great because I think for the children, and I think you've seen this, it just helps them develop their self-confidence, their self-awareness, and what they want to do. And have you seen that already? Because I know you're starting the program in fall, but you've already had some mentors helping out.
We already have youth that we've been actively supporting. This is basically how Nawaya became a little bit more known in the community. Even though we just recently launched our online platform, we had to move forward with at least working with a handful of youth just to show that we're moving forward and what we do does have an impact on their lives.
I want to take this opportunity to congratulate you because Zaina Saab won the King Abdullah Award for Youth Innovation and Achievement in May of 2013, beating out 365 applicants. Congratulations. What was that like?
It was definitely a life-changing moment for me. I really want to thank the King Abdullah Fund for Development for really supporting young social entrepreneurs in the Arab world.
And also getting recognition for what you do, getting regional recognition for what you do, right?
Definitely. And this is the way of the future, youth innovation. We don't want to be stuck in the ways of the past. We want to be innovative. We want to keep, being creative and thinking outside the box to solve, the traditional problems in our region, which are massive. But the fact that there's a fund out there that supports youth innovation is extremely, commendable.
And I just want to say on behalf of a lot of children and people of all ages, thank you for staying here and really doing something positive, which is what Summer Insights is about, even though sometimes it's difficult in this region. And thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for that.
For more information on how you can contribute or volunteer, you can log on to www.nawaya.org, or you can check out their Facebook page at www.facebook.com/The Nawaya Network. That was the founder of the Nawaya Network, Zaina Saab, with us. Back to you, Linda.
Yumna, and still to come in our program, Thousands flee from rebel-held areas as clashes continue in the Philippines. Stay with us. Welcome back. Patriarch Bashar al-Rai inaugurates the first Maronite church in Eastern Europe, calling for an end to the confessional conflict in Lebanon. During his sermon at St. Sherbel Church in the Romanian capital Bucharest, Rai called on all sects to refrain from imposing political hegemony on others and to act unilaterally in decision-making. He reiterates the need to form a new, all-embracing and capable government which can face political challenges and handle security issues. Rai says Lebanon can play an important role in the region to achieve peace and stability, as it is a secular state embracing pluralism and coexistence. Hezbollah Deputy Secretary General Sheikh Naim Qassem denounced those who criticize the security measures taken by his party after last month's bomb attack in Ruwais. He criticized the state's inability to implement security measures in Lebanon and mainly in the Beirut southern suburbs of Dahieh, a failure which serves the interest of Israelis and triggers chaos in Lebanon, he says. Hezbollah has deployed heavy security measures and many checkpoints around Beirut's southern suburbs ever since the blast targeted its stronghold. Three people have been killed in a bomb attack in northwest Syria. Sana news agency says the casualties include Fakhreddin Hassan, a journalist working for a publication of the ruling Ba'ath Party. Hassan was killed along with two other people by a blast that hit their bus on a road in northwestern province of Idlib. Another 9 people were wounded in the attack. Elsewhere in the country, warplanes and artillery bombarded rebel suburbs of the capital. The head of the opposition Syrian Supreme Military Council says Syrian President Bashar al-Assad will not adhere to the conditions of a U.S.-Russian agreement to eliminate Syria's chemical weapons, as he is moving his chemical materials into Lebanon and Iraq. After calling the agreement a blow to the 2.5-year uprising to remove Assad from power, General Salim Idris says the deal will allow Assad to escape being held accountable for killing hundreds of civilians in a poison gas attack on Damascus on August the 21st. However, the Arab League says it welcomes the U.S.-Russian deal as it will help to find a political solution to the war. Moving on to the Middle East, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he hopes the U.S.-Russian brokered deal to remove Syria's chemical weapons will result in the complete destruction of the arsenal and push the world to stop Iran from nuclear weapon armament. Netanyahu spoke before a planned meeting with U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry, who flew to Israel to brief him on the accord he reached with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov in Geneva on Saturday. Israel says intelligence it has gathered on neighboring Syria could help verify Assad's compliance with the accord. Israel's President Shimon Peres says the possibility of U.S. military action if the plan fails should teach a lesson to Iran. The British Foreign Office says British and Iranian foreign ministers will meet in New York later this month after both sides have expressed the will to restore ties broken after an attack on the British embassy in Tehran in 2011. A Foreign Office spokesperson says there are no further details at this stage, but the meeting will take place on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly. Moving on to the Philippines, a week of violence in the southern country has undercut hopes of lasting peace in the resource-rich region and exposed the government to criticism for underestimating rogue Muslim rebels who feel ignored by a landmark deal. Security forces are trying to secure Muslim rebel positions in the week of violence that has killed more than 61 people and sent thousands fleeing. Sporadic fire resumed early this morning at 2 districts in the southern Philippine city of Zamboanga as government troops moved to clear the rebel out of the villages. Officials say several hostages escaped their captors during the firefights. And this marks the end of our bulletin for today. And now for a reminder of our headlines. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he hopes the U.S.-Russian broker deal to remove Syria's chemical weapons will result in the complete destruction of the arsenal. Syria's Supreme Military Council says President Bashar al-Assad will not adhere to the conditions of the weapons deal as he is moving his chemical materials into Lebanon and Iraq. And moving on with our summer insights, we're joined by Zaina Saab to talk about what it takes to form an NGO in Lebanon. Those were your weekend headlines from the English News team here at Future Television. Catch us again tomorrow, same time, for more of the world's top stories. Have a great day.
من حرص القيادة السورية على أرواح مواطنينا وأمن بلدنا.
Assad does not have significant military capability.
إذا قتلونا